That was David Hall, Business Development Director at Intergas. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Next up, we have Alan Jackson, Director at Helvar. That's what it tells me here. Is that right?
I'll take it.
Yeah, you've had a promotion, my friend.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done. Lovely. Let's move on.
Happy Earth Day, everybody. Well done for arranging it today. My name's Alan Jackson. I work for a company called Helvar, which is a Finnish lighting company, although we're based in the UK with my colleagues who are based in Scotland at the back. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to try and cover in 10 minutes the link between buildings, people, carbon emissions, and technology. And technology has been highlighted a couple of times already. What we can say is technology is already making a difference in the way we look at building design, whether that's new build or refurbishment. We now understand, finally, even old people like me understand, that it's through our technology choices that we unlock the full potential of buildings. We can monitor their usage, we can reduce carbon emissions, but really importantly, we can optimize those indoor environments for the people using the buildings. It's not just about the building itself. So our goal is to utilize technology to create sustainable, healthy, optimized indoor spaces. The next time you're walking around a city, any city, take a look around, look up. Instead of looking forward, look up every now and again. You'll see lights burning brightly where they shouldn't be. And if those lights are burning brightly where they shouldn't be, that means you can guarantee that the other building services are also running as well as the lighting. I was in Baku last week. I can tell you that lights are on 100% of the time. I was in Dubai a few weeks before that. I can tell you they never switch the lights off. In Europe, we're a bit more savvy, but I live just outside London. It's not that great. So our buildings are bleeding emissions. We can't stop the emissions clock ticking over, but we can slow it down. We can slow it down by making better technology choices as early as we can in the building designs. Many of you will have come across this energy performance gap. This is through studies from RIBA, SIBSI, and others. The most recent study I read was that buildings generally use between 2 and 5 times more energy than predicted at design stage. Think about that for a second. That's a serious difference. That's not because the design stage was particularly wrong. It's because things change. It's constantly changing. And technology is how you get actionable data from your buildings so that you can optimize them so that they use no more energy than is absolutely necessary. And you can feed these figures back into the machine. I love the fact that you've got these algorithms and software that will analyze this data so that we can reduce this energy performance gap. Now, making a building future-proof, optimized for energy consumption, optimized for people who are using those spaces, it requires planning, it requires investment, it requires vision, and it requires an understanding of what's possible. And that's why I love these forums, because we get to share what's possible. I've learned such a lot today. Every day's a learning day, but today's been particularly a learning day. So let's look at some of the challenges. When you embark on your building design journey, whether it's a new build or a refurbishment, how do you know? How can you prove that your building is using no more energy than is absolutely necessary? The only way you can know it, the only way you can know where your energy is being used, how your energy is being used, and why you're using that energy, is to use intelligent sensing technologies. Press the button. We need sensors. We need sensors so that we can collect the data, process that data, produce insights, and then produce business intelligence. And business intelligence is exactly what you need to optimize your building. It just makes sense. Here's another one. The decisions we make today must give the future generations the possibility to update and upgrade buildings. We've made so many mistakes in the past. I'm really fortunate I get to travel the world and meet lots of interesting people who've made the same mistakes I did 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Choose the wrong technological foundations, choose the latest innovation that guarantees nothing in the future. So making sure that we use the right technological foundations so that we give future generations the possibility to upgrade buildings without ripping everything out and starting all over again. Even though I might be retired by the time this is a problem, I don't think we should leave it to future generations to sort out. And how do you optimize your indoor space for one or many people? I'm a great believer that even a space this size should be optimized whether there's one person sitting in it or 500 people sitting in it. We've got the technology to do it. We just need to have the right technological foundations and then choose the right technology so that we are enabling ourselves and future generations to do that, because things change. This might be used as an office facility one day. We don't know. Today it's being used for a conference. Again, how you optimize this indoor space for one person or many people is through intelligent sensing technologies. Collect the data, analyze the data, reduce the energy performance gap, and get your indoor environmental quality at the right level. And how do you demonstrate that your buildings are healthy, productive, creative spaces to spend time in? This is a big deal. We are interviewing people who want to work in post-COVID, especially post-COVID. They want to work in healthy, productive, creative spaces. They don't want a box to sit in, which is using a minimal amount of energy to provide a minimal design space. They want to feel great at work. When you design your buildings like this, I've been lucky enough to spend time in some really fantastic buildings that inspire you when you're working in them. We spend on average 80%, 90% of our lives inside spaces. The way we know, the way we demonstrate that our classroom or our office or even our home is a creative, healthy, productive space to spend time in is to collect the data, process the data, create value from that data and insights. And again, it comes down to business intelligence. So in summary, it's time to wake up our buildings by using technology, by using intelligent technologies, collect the data, process the data, create insights and business intelligence, and unlock the potential of the building and its occupants. We've got all the technology we need. We don't need any more technology than we have today to ensure that buildings use no more energy than is absolutely necessary. Sometimes it is necessary. Earlier, you asked for the temperature to be turned down. That requires energy, but it means we're more productive, we're more creative. So it's about people at the end of the day. How do we future-proof our buildings? And we need to future-proof them. We need the data. We need to understand how buildings are being used. We need, again, to create insights about how our buildings and spaces can be more sustainable and healthier for the next generation and the generation after that. But in my opinion, you can disagree if you wish, the most important message that I would take away from my presentation at least is that people are the most important ingredient in any building design, whether it's a new build or refurbishment. It is possible to prioritize the needs of people, but still create sustainable spaces, reduce carbon emissions, reduce embodied carbon, and reduce future-proof spaces, while still providing great spaces for people to spend time in. And it's up to us. That's why I love these forums. It's up to us to discuss, debate, learn from each other, and pass the messages around. And the more we do it, the more chance we have of succeeding.